Since the Roswell incident in 1947, many Americans have wondered about the dangers of unknown objects crisscrossing our skies.
Do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years.
A House Oversight Subcommittee held a hearing on UFOs, officially known as Unidentified Aerial Phenomena or UAPs, and heard mystifying testimony about unexplained object sightings and government possession of non-human biological matter. 3 former military officials told Congress that they believe the government knows much more about UFOs than it is telling the public. Ryan Graves, Executive Director of Americans for Safe Aerospace, retired Air Force Major David Grush and retired Navy Commander David Fravor testified in Congress, including a former Air Force intelligence officer who claimed the U.S. government has operated a secret, multi-decade, reverse engineering program of recovered UFOs. Graves was an F-18 pilot stationed in Virginia Beach in 2014 when his squadron first began detecting unknown objects. He described them as dark gray or black cubes, inside of a clear sphere, where the apex or tips of the cubes were touching the inside of that sphere. He said a fellow pilot told him about one incident about 10 miles off the coast, in which an object between 5 and 15 feet in diameter flew between 2 F-18s and came within 50 feet of the aircraft. He said there was no acknowledgement of the incident or way to report the encounter at the time. UAP encounters were not rare or isolated. In addition to Grush, the panel heard testimony from Ryan Graves, a former Navy pilot who has spoken out about encountering UAPs on training missions, and David Fravor, who spotted a large object captured in the now famous Tic Tac video during a flight off the coast of California in 2004. David Fravor, a former Navy commander, said he and 3 fellow military pilots spotted a white Tic Tac-shaped object in 2004, hovering below their jets and just above the Pacific Ocean. As he descended to inspect the sighting, he claimed the unidentified aircraft, which he said bore no visible rotors, wings, or exhaust, began to ascend and approach his fighter jet. He claimed that the UAP then vanished, only to reappear a few seconds later, but this time it was spotted 60 miles away. Fravor told the committee that the technology he and his team encountered defies logical explanation. The technology that we faced is far superior to anything that we had. Ryan Graves, a former Navy pilot, told the panel that military pilots do not feel adequately briefed on UAPs, which he said leaves them unprepared to respond to UAP encounters. The former Navy pilot claimed that commercial airline pilots have spotted UAPs too. All 3 witnesses said current reporting systems are inadequate to investigate UAP encounters, and said a stigma still exists for pilots and officials who press for more transparency about their experiences. Grush served as a representative on 2 Pentagon task forces investigating UAPs until earlier this year. He told lawmakers that he was informed of a multi-decade UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program during the course of his work examining classified programs. And this brings us to Bob Lazar. Robert Scott Lazar claims he was hired in the late 1980s to reverse engineer extraterrestrial technology. This work supposedly occurred at a secret site called S4. A subsidiary installation allegedly located several kilometers south of the United States Air Force facility popularly known as Area 51. Lazar purports to have examined an alien craft and read U.S. government briefing documents that described alien involvement in human affairs. His claims brought additional public attention to Area 51. He said the facility was adjacent to Papoose Lake, which is located south of the main Area 51 facility at Groom Lake. He claimed the site consisted of concealed aircraft hangars built into a mountainside. Lazar said that his job was to help with the reverse engineering of one of 9 flying saucers, which he alleged were extraterrestrial in origin. He claims one of the flying saucers, the one he coined the sport model, was manufactured out of a metallic substance similar in appearance and touch to liquid titanium. He said that while walking down a hallway at S4, he briefly glanced through a door window and saw what he interpreted as 2 men in lab coats facing down and talking to something small with long arms. 3 decades later, he said he did not think he saw an alien, but speculated that he saw a doll used as reference for the size of the alleged aliens, and that a nickname used for them was the Kids. Lazar has claimed that the propulsion of the studied vehicle ran on an antimatter reactor and was fueled by the chemical element with atomic number 115, which at the time was provisionally named ununpentium and had not yet been artificially created. He said that the propulsion system relied on a stable isotope of E115, which allegedly generates a gravity wave that allowed the vehicle to fly and to evade visual detection by bending light around it. In 2017, Lazar's workplace was raided by the FBI and local police, which Lazar theorizes was to recover element 115, a substance he says he took from a government lab.
A lot has changed in the decades since Bob Lazar first told this wild story. The Pentagon recently admitted that it really has been secretly studying UFOs and that it wanted to figure out and duplicate that technology.
Now this rabbit hole takes us to a different shocking turn.
BBC and the BBC correspondent in Harare saying they sighted an unidentified flying object last night. We have some eyewitness reports.
On September 16, 1994, there was a UFO sighting outside Roa, Zimbabwe. 62 pupils at the aerial school aged between 6 and 12 said that they saw a silver craft descend from the sky and land on a field near their school. The sightings at Ariel occurred at 10 a.m., when pupils were outside on mid-morning break. Unknown craft descend from the sky and land in a field nearby. The children described the event, which they reported as having lasted up to 15 minutes. With this prompting the head teacher to ask the children to draw what they had seen. They came back with pretty similar images of silvery, classic UFO-type crafts, sometimes complete with alien figures standing nearby. Between 1 and 4 creatures with big eyes and dressed all in black, exited a craft and approached the children. At this point many of the children ran, but some, mostly older pupils, stayed and watched the approach. The creatures then telepathically communicated to the children an environmental message, before returning to the craft and flying away.
After from
the man.
The man. And the man, did the man say those things to you? How did he get that across to you?
Well, he never said anything. It's just that the face has the eyes.
How did that get communicated to you?
I don't know.
But somehow it did, isn't it?
Yeah, it came through my head.
This telepathic message or warning was about something that's going to happen, and that pollution mustn't be. An 11-year-old girl said, "I think they want people to know that we're actually making harm on this world and we mustn't get too technologed." One child said that he was told that the world would end because they are not taking care of the planet. The Ariel School UFO incident quickly became one of the most famous UFO cases in Africa. On a June 2021 episode of the BBC's Witness History, the event was described as one of the most significant events in UFO history. Ufologists continue to cite the case as providing compelling evidence of extraterrestrial visits to Earth. Now the rabbit hole leads us to this. Men in Black feature prominently in ufology. In 1947, Harold Dahl claimed a man in a dark suit warned him not to discuss his alleged UFO sighting on Maury Island. In the mid-1950s, ufologist Albert K. Bender claimed he was visited by men in dark suits who threatened and warned him not to continue investigating UFOs. He maintained that the men were secret government agents tasked with suppressing evidence of UFOs. The real Men in Black are said to be shadowy, secretive figures dressed in dark suits who visit witnesses of strange, paranormal phenomena, typically, those who have claimed to see UFOs. The Men in Black usually appear in groups of 2 or 3, allegedly threatening witnesses to ensure they remain silent about what they've seen. Some have claimed the MIBs are government agents, but others believe they may in fact be shape-shifting aliens in disguise. In either case, those who claim to have had experiences with the real Men in Black are not quick to forget them. In all of their different incarnations, the Men in Black usually have one main purpose: to muzzle witnesses of strange, paranormal phenomena. They almost always wear black suits and hats with dark sunglasses, drive black cars. Some describe them as one would an FBI agent, while others recall them as having strange appearances, sometimes with supernatural features like glowing eyes and strange complexions. So what does this all mean, and why are we under the alien magnifying glass? You decide.